watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
You're watching the ZNS Health Zone. ZNS Health Zone is sponsored by Doctors Hospital. Other sponsors include the National Workers Credit Union, Freeport Insurance Agents and Brokers, Save More Drugs, and Insurance Management.
And welcome to Health Zone, everybody. I'm Ricardo Lightborn, your host today, and today's show is all about men. Yes, we're talking about Bahamian men and an area that Bahamian men don't like to talk about, but we need to talk about it because it is important that we understand that our health issues are things that we as men have to discuss openly, so that other men who have been affected in more ways than one can understand that your body is essential. With me today are two individuals who have really done a lot of work in the area of dealing with men, and that is Don Mitchell of Us Two, and also we have Percy Kemp of Us Two. And today we're talking about prostate cancer, and the reason why we, and I say we because all of us as Bahamian men are high risk of having to deal with this matter, and that is prostate cancer. And with Don and having Percy here today, we're going to go over a lot of issues and things that you need to know about prostate cancer and why it is important for us to make sure that we get ourselves checked out. Gentlemen, ready?
Oh, yep.
I would say so. Let's start off with Don. Don, I know for you, as the chairman of the screening attribute and the Us Two organization here in Grand Bahama, and seeing how things are moving in the right direction as we draw near to the screening portion, which is next month. How do you feel about where we are at this point in getting the message out to men about prostate cancer?
Well, we have made a lot of progress over the years since Us Two started the screening in 2011. But we still know that a lot of men are holding out. There are men in Grand Bahama who just refuse to get screened. Sometimes I'm in a situation with 5 men and 3 are talking to me and 2 are saying, never, never, I'm not gonna ever, I'm going to my grave with this, whatever that means. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I'd like to say that there will be no clinic next month. And I need to correct that in your psyche. We have been sending men since the pandemic and since September 2020 directly to labs every day.
Right.
Every day is a clinic-like situation, and they go there, they get screened for $22 if they can pay. If they cannot pay, the few that can, and very few cannot pay $22, Us Two pays. And we've done that because of the pandemic. And we haven't come out of that mode since the pandemic, but we've done over 2,000 men since the pandemic like that, sending them directly to the labs and doing only the blood work.
Right, but what I'm saying is September is Prostate Cancer Month.
Yes,
well,
it is.
That is what it is known for.
Yes.
Now, we've known in the past that you've had the clinics,
yes,
which is over there at the Pierce Plaza, and was open to men accordingly. But what I'm saying, we're looking at this, get this word out. In September scenario, and that's why I said it in that regard.
Okay,
I'm glad you cleared that up for me and making sure that we're going. Also, Percy Kemp, active member of Us Two, and for you, giving your 5 cents as to why men need to be aware is very, very important.
Well, you know, the hard and fast truth is that men are still dying from prostate cancer, and they don't need to. So, I mean, even people, men, or even women, mothers, sisters listening in, I'm sure many of you have already felt the pain of losing a loved one to prostate cancer. So join us in this message of encouraging our men to be aware of their prostate health, get tested when they're supposed to, and follow up on the treatment.
Well, it's a very eye-opening scenario when you say to me that 1 in every 6 male is able to have an issue or will more than likely die, from prostate cancer.
Yeah.
That in itself, and look at the numbers, you've got to sit back and realize that you need to take a little bit more interest in your health as a male. I would say that.
At least one man in the Bahamas, at least, dies of prostate cancer every 2 weeks, at least. We don't even know the full extent because we don't have a national register of cancer. And one of the challenges of having such a register, should we have it, is because a lot of our population go abroad for treatment. And we aren't able to track that. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are in Cuba and in Cleveland Clinic, you see, and they get excellent treatment. But we would like to know what they're doing. Some of our men go through these cases, but some never report to us after we tell them. They just go off and we hardly ever hear from them. And they get treated. Fine, that is good.
Okay, but us too is an organization that is actually out there to get the message out.
Yes,
and I think that is very, very important in bringing the awareness.
But we also take people, a lot of people don't realize. I just mentioned the model of taking the men to the labs. Medical Pavilion, Sunrise Medical, Lucayan Medical, do it for $22 a person, and they email the results to me. Every person who has a PSA of over 4 is seen free of charge by our consultant urologist, Dr. Robert Roberts, at Sunrise Medical. We have had, since the pandemic, 17 clinics, including one just Friday past at Sunrise Medical, where he has seen men from this exercise that we've been doing who have issues, and men from the past, from before when we're doing the annual clinic. He has seen men on that accord. And now we are into the follow-up of the men. You see, the treatment options, us too, we're engaged in following up on treatment options.
Right.
You see, what Dr. Roberts sees the man, and he does a biopsy in cases where he deems it is appropriate. And I personally have taken every biopsy that he has done for the last 6 to 7 years to the RAND. I've taken them to the RAND, and I collect the pathology reports. And then I call the guys to come in and see him and sit down and discuss it and take it further and counsel them.
Right.
And so that is where us too is now. We've gone a little further than just the screening. We've gone far further than just the screening now. And we have these clinics on Fridays at Sunrise Medical, and Percy is part of the team that, that pulls off those clinics. So we're deep into it now.
Those clinics he's talking about is the consultation.
Right, consultation group.
Yeah.
But my question to you, gentlemen, is why is it that when it's breast cancer month, everything around here is pink? Everything is all displayed as far as breast cancer for women and what's going on in that regards. But here it is, prostate cancer, which is something that is inundating we men and taking us out one by one because we are not getting ahead of this thing and understanding what we need to do. And we're not getting the attention, the national attention, the international attention that should come along with something that is killing men.
Name another organization in Grand Bahama that has had 800 men come there over 2 days for testing, as we did September 2018 at the Pest Plaza Clinic.
I was there.
Yeah, exactly.
I was there. I saw the line.
So we are making a difference, and we get a lot of attention. And the attention is that we get the corporate sponsorship. I mean, it's not. It could be better, right? I don't want to make the guys think, oh, we don't need to pull those checks out. But corporate Grand Bahama, they support us.
And the PHA, the last letter I got from them is they said, we want to forge a partnership with you. They gave us free supplies. They're doctors, they're phlebotomists, they're healthy lifestyle unit. They don't charge us. They go, we have very little overhead, so it's not that bad. But it's just that there's so much more to be done.
That's my point.
Yeah, and you're right.
And that's my point. There's so much more to be done because you have where corporate entities are giving all kinds of support to the women's side of this thing as far as breast cancer is concerned, and discounts and you name it, and all kinds of stuff, right?
They're offering, they go looking for them.
And not just here in the Bahamas, but this is all over the world.
Yeah.
Now, we're not seeing that kind of a drive and push.
Okay, but we have enough to do what we do. I can name the company. I won't name the companies in the industrial sector who give us $500 to $1,000 check, or the $1,200 to $2,500. I won't name them, but we have their attention. We have their attention. But the thing is that what we envisage for us to now in the future is that we need an office with paid staff, because we want to. I'm thinking about doing this screening, continuing the model we have now, and sending men to the labs, the same labs, during their birth month instead, the birth month. And so we'd spread it out over the year, and following up tightly on the treatment options, you see? So we are looking for funding now, as you said, international funding. And Dr. Robertson and I are working behind the scenes, looking for major funding, and we hope that this will eventually result in an office with paid staff, with all our records there, and we will be able to run us two. Us two is way beyond that stage now where we were just having that clinic now. We're way beyond that.
In going through some of the information that I was looking at, and it's eye-opening in terms of the racial profile for prostate cancer, overall alcohol intake, being obese as far as men is concerned, diet, and I looked at it, and then I'm looking at Percy here to the side. You don't have a girth. He was always an active individual, but you were affected by this.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing, prostate cancer can affect anyone. There are certain things you can do to minimize, but in terms of avoiding it completely or 100% that you won't get it, no. Any of us can get it. And not all of us do get it.
If you live long enough.
Yeah. So the important thing is, if you can't 100% avoid it, the best thing to do is to know as soon as possible when you do get it. Because once you catch it early, it's very treatable. And that's the importance of doing your screening on time.
But how did this affect you when you realized that you had an issue?
It was a surprise. It was a complete surprise for me. I thought I was pretty healthy. And that's sometimes the way it comes, that no rhyme or reason. There's these genetic factors and all these stuff like that within your family sometimes. So, but it was a surprise. It was devastating. And I was one of those people who didn't catch it as early as I can, or I could have, because for some reason I was not doing the testing, and I was doing regular physicals, but my doctor was not testing, doing the screening, the PSA screening on me. And how I came to realize that something was off, I was a regular blood donor, and there were times I go to give blood and they say you don't have enough iron or blood and stuff like that, and trying to get down to the bottom of that. And my doctor, let's do a PSA. And sure enough, after he did the PSA, the first reading was like a 6.5, whereas the cutoff point is anything above 4 and above. So we continued investigating from there, did the biopsy, and sure enough, prostate cancer.
And you've been able to manage moving forward and taking better.
I had prostate taken out.
Okay.
Because everything showed that the cancer was still in the prostate. So the mentality is you take the prostate out, you take the cancer out. All right? Okay. But even while they did the operation, they would still do some testing in the nodes and sites around that area to make sure that the cancer hadn't spread. One or two of my nodes came back positive, which meant that the cancer had started to come out of the prostate. So I had to follow up the surgery with radiation to make sure that everything was clear.
And today?
Today, oh yeah,
What's your
cancer-free.
latest PSA?
Yeah, my PSA is below 0.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's a minus.
Zero.
Yeah,
0.1.
0.0 something.
Yeah, that's
And
what we expect.
it's been that way since the surgery.
That's right.
Under radiation. Yeah.
We're going to take a break here. We are again talking about men. Prostate cancer is very, very essential. We're going to get Don's story, but let's take a break, and then when we come back, remember, guys, 1 in 6 of us, we men, is in trouble. We'll be right back, everybody.
You're watching the ZNS Health Zone.
For all your insurance needs, life, health, homeowners, marine, and so much more, we are Freeport Insurance agents and brokers located at Freeport Insurance Center, number 21B West Mall Drive, Freeport, and in Nassau at Suite A3A, East Bay Plaza, East Bay Street. We specialize in you.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
Maintaining strong relationships with superior customer service. Fulfilling all your insurance needs through commercial, property and casualty, marine and aviation, homeowners and contents, automotive for private and commercial, life insurance, medical, and pension investments. Being the best at who we are in Freeport since 1980.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
A name you've come to know and trust.
We've always been there for you.
So call us today at 350-3500 or visit our office on Pioneers Way.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited. Honestly,
Nobody does it better.
Doctors Hospital's reimagined primary care. We've invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations in Freeport and 8 Mile Rock, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
We all need to save time, gas, and money. Shopping at Save More can help you do just that. Make us your first stop for all your prescription needs and medical supplies. Get all your health and beauty items at the same time. And don't miss our huge choice of snacks to satisfy your cravings. And the largest vitamin selection and over-the-counter relief products. Need diapers and other baby care items? First stop, the new section for makeovers, cosmetics, and beautiful jewelry will make you sparkle for that next special event. Save More Drugs, your more store.
make the best decision of your life and become an active and valued member of National Workers Cooperative Credit Union today. Call 352-9624 or 826-8670. National Workers Cooperative Credit Union. You're watching the ZNS Health Zone.
And welcome back to Health Zone. I'm Ricardo Lightborn, and today's program is all about men. Yes, men, it's time that you step up to the plate and take care of your bodies and take full advantage of what is going to be happening next month. It is Prostate Cancer Month, September, but we want you this month to be very, very careful on how you manage your body. With me today, again, is Don Mitchell and Percy Kemp. Not just being involved in us too, These two men have had stories upon stories in terms of how prostate cancer has affected their lives. As far as Percy Kemp is concerned, as a member of the Us2 organization, this has been bittersweet in more ways than one, helping men, and then two, having to deal with your ordeal. Tell me how that was for you.
Well, so for me, I didn't know about Us2 before I went through my experience with prostate cancer. But having gone through that experience with prostate cancer, I naturally began to look for an outlet to help to avoid or even to help men in their process of going through what I went through. So that's part of my passion has been the fact that I am a victim and a survivor.
When you found out that you had prostate cancer, what went through your mind?
What went? Oh man. Well, one of the things, the possibility, you know, of pain and death. All right. Even in terms of, you know, what am I going to have to go through now to deal with this thing? You're worried about your family and your future, and you're kind of a little bit disappointed you have to deal with the fact that this has happened to me, and you gotta deal with those why me, you know, and you have to move beyond that now to this is what it is, let's deal with it.
And dealing with it and incorporating your family and friends, I know that would have been a very difficult time.
Oh yeah, for church and everything, everybody involved. But thankfully, and I guess it's important to involve others too, because you need that support. And I got a lot of support, and I'd encourage anyone who's going through it, you know, don't be secretive about it. You need your support systems when you're going through stuff like this. So I'm grateful for the support I got.
There you go, and still working hand in hand with us to ensure that that support
that other man get that same support
in order to receive it. Yeah. For Don, how was your experience and when you found out that you had prostate cancer?
November 2008, I was living in Bermuda. Actually, I did my annual physical August 28, 2008. And in a few months after some investigations over my PSA, my prostate test, blood test, which was 12.4 in 2008, after jumping from 3.9 the previous year, my doctor in Bermuda told me that we had to investigate it. And after investigation and some antibiotics, we brought it down to 6.2. And they did a biopsy in Bermuda. I was living and working there, so I had friends. I had friends there, and so they did a biopsy in Bermuda, the doctor did, and it was positive. I had prostate cancer. I didn't really expect it. I thought that because I was living so healthy and because I was getting checked every year, you know, unlike Percy, I was getting checked. My doctor in Nassau, Dr. Francis Adderley, he was my doctor. When I reached age 50, he said, you have to start doing the prostate test. My doctor in Bermuda continued it. And so that's why my own was probably detected maybe a little earlier than Percy's, because my own had not spread. But I also had surgery. I was recommended to a clinic in Burlington, Massachusetts, and that's where I had my prostate taken out. Both of us had the same kind of surgery, which is robotic-assisted laparoscopic radical prostatectomy, which is just a fancy way of saying they took the prostate out and they used the robot to guide to do the surgery itself.
Get it done.
One of the issues that your experience brings out is the importance of regular testing.
Yeah.
Because things can shift quickly.
Yes, yes.
So you skip a year and that could be the year.
Right. And going back to before the pandemic era, when we would see the clinics over there to the Pierce Plaza, and we would see the number of men taking full advantage of the testing scenario.
Yes, yes.
And when I walked in there, just as, you know, being very curious, and I saw the faces of the men, young and old.
Yes.
I was taking full advantage of it. And then, as the years passed, many of those men were able to catch the disease quickly, and then some again we lost.
Yes.
All right, due to the illness, but those that were saved was because of the effort of us too. Made it a whole lot better. Yeah. And I think that's the game plan that you now have expanded to not just take it from a local perspective, but take it to an international perspective as well.
Doctors were telling us that they were seeing more men, because we were in touch with almost every doctor. I visited every doctor's office, and I remember the first time I went around Grand Bahama, I was a stranger to Grand Bahama, and Percy was with me, remember Percy? And I went all through the RAND and all that. But eventually we visited all the doctors, and I became personally known to them because they felt that that recognition needed to be there. And over the years, they were telling us that more men were coming to them and asking about the prostate because of our image.
And then we also look, gentlemen, at the fact that we as black men are at high risk as compared to the Anglo population of sorts. So we've got to be smart, and you've got to take this thing in hand, and you've got to check yourself.
If we have the highest risk, if you look at the chart, the highest incidence, the most aggressive, and therefore the most difficult to treat, because it is most aggressive, so you have to be right on time. And we get it, the incidence of our men who get it, more black men get it on a percentage basis than other ethnic groups. Now, particularly in the diaspora, the black diaspora. I mean, England, I watch a video on YouTube on prostate cancer in England, and it's basically the same thing. In the United States and the Caribbean, it's the same thing. The black diaspora, and I read something, if you took Asians are probably the lowest incidence.
Right.
If you took an Asian man out of Asia and brought him to the Bahamas, his risk factor goes up. That is a question we need to answer.
When I looked at the information here in terms of Bahamian men and developing a higher risk of prostate cancer, we're eating too much, we're eating too good, and we're drinking too much.
Good. I don't know how much alcohol does it, but listen here, we have cancer in Bahamas, right? We have a cookout to raise funds. What we sell at the cookout probably must get the cancer.
Okay. And again,
so that's the reality.
Scenario.
And not just the nature of the food, but the quantities.
Agreed.
When I came back to the Bahamas from Bermuda, I had a first cousin here, and she gave me a plate of food and the biggest piece of macaroni. The macaroni is so big it couldn't fit in the plate, so she put it on top of the rest of the food, the macaroni, and I loved it. You say, look, I was 174 pounds when I left Bermuda.
And when you said that, earlier this morning, I'm watching the news, and they're going over this restaurant in terms of portions that's being served. And I'm saying to myself, this has never happened in the Bahamas, that you go to a restaurant where you just get a portion in terms of whatever you eat accordingly. And I'm saying to myself, with a bit more peas and rice and macaroni and potato salad and all that pile up there, and don't forget the
coleslaw
and liver and coleslaw and some corn.
Sugar in it.
And so that's it. And then our men develop girth, and then not able to get rid of it. We don't want to walk. We don't want to exercise. And so we figure just being a couch potato and just let it happens. But you got to take control of your health.
Give you a scenario that I experience all the time, distributing results. You know, we distribute our results. We give every person who is screened a copy of his result. And we like to think, we have this thing called the dream team, deliver all results early to the men, all right, DREAM. And so we set this team up, and we go in an isolated place, and we call. So I have these guys come in, 80-something years old, and his result is 0.7. And I say, how come your result is so low? I said, you don't eat no fried food? Oh, no, I don't food. I said, what about fast food? I don't even stop by. How about macaroni? No, I don't eat. And I say, that's the solution right there. I won't bring these guys. I do some presentations at various places. I can start bringing them with me.
I just came out of Cat Island with the Cat Island Regatta, and talking to the gentlemen or the men down there on that island. They're eating from the soil. They grow what they eat. The vegetables they grow, as well as the sea, and utilizing that. And so the numbers will tell you. The family islands, the numbers are way down compared to the cities like us in New Providence, where the population is very, very high. Which means that, to me, what I'm getting in the food store isn't working for me. I need to go to the farming, backyard farming, and do some things to help my physical being in terms of my health and be able to live long and to be around for quite a while.
Exactly.
And I think that's the way we have to go in looking at how we handle ourselves in terms of the prostate cancer.
That's something that would help generally in all areas of health, is a diet, proper diet, exercise, and rest.
And I said to some folks down there in Cat Island, they mad at me, but I really don't care, that they need to grow everything they grow in Cat Island, put it on the boat and send it to us, and let us, the NASA don't want it, send it to Grand Bahama. Okay? Let us eat it. Let's have the potatoes. Let's have the cassava. Let's have the onions, tomatoes. They're growing bananas like crazy. Everything that's growing down there's grown in great numbers, and it's grown naturally in the soil. I don't have to worry about what the processed food that I'm purchasing over the counter of some sort. I don't want to cause nobody to lose their job, but I'm just looking at what's given to me to consume.
Yeah. We import $1 billion worth of food in this country a year.
Right.
And I see people buying mint in the food store, mint growing wild in Pinter's Point.
Wow.
And a part of, the fact that we do have higher incidence of prostate cancer in black men, we tend to have a more aggressive cancer.
Yes, absolutely. So we said the incidence and the aggressive. So it's more difficult. It's
double whammy.
Well, but then again, on the other side of the coin is that prostate cancer is easy to detect, and is much easier to treat if detected early. You see, it's much easier to look at Percy and I. We have not had a problem since we were detected relatively early, and we haven't had a problem since. And we know many other men like that. Hundreds of them in Grand Bahama, easy to detect, easy to treat if detected early.
Yeah.
But also we have found over the years, and this is something over the years we have to deal with, that men were terrified of the rectal examination, and now the PSA is another means to find out. There are opportunities where you have to do that in order for that to happen. But reality is, staying alive is a whole lot better than being shamed.
Yep.
I don't understand why, but it is an issue that some men have. So we will have to, in the future, consider, if we do that big clinic again, we have to consider whether we should make that optional. Because I discovered a whole population, a whole area in Grand Bahama was staying away from us. I wouldn't call the name of the settlement, because we were doing the DRE. And when they found out, when we were doing this, I call this thing, what we were doing of sending directly to the labs, I called that the stopgap measure, because that was always supposed to happen for a while. When they found out about this stopgap measure, and they asked me, you all only doing the blood test? Well, we got a whole lot of guys from that settlement, because the guy who was communicating with me told me they were staying away because they didn't want to do the DRE.
But gentlemen, you have to look at your family and think about your family and how your family is going to react, and being there for your children. Every man looks at his children.
They were
and says to them, I want to be here for you. And if you are going to be here for them, there are some things that you have to do to make sure that you are here for them. And once you're gone, you leave them at the will of the world. But while you're here, and you can prevent this, you are here to help them get through the world. And that has to be a motivational point for any man that's walking around today and needs to get checked?
It should be.
I have to bring up another area that is a deterrent. The possibility of sexual dysfunction being brought about by prostate cancer treatment. That is a real possibility. Okay, but it is more possible if you wait late. Okay, if you are detected relatively early, there's a good possibility that it will affect it. It will affect your sexual function, but it's a possibility that it could be restored to a great extent to what it was before.
Okay.
But we find men we find who have prostate cancer say to us, I don't want anything that is going to affect that. That's one of the common refrains we have, how this can affect that part of my life. And I say to them, choose life. Choose life for you and your family. Choose life at this point, and we will see how that will happen. I cannot guarantee. We cannot guarantee that it won't. We don't know what extent it is. If they come thus late, you see the nerve that causes erection sits. I mean, it's ironical that the Heavenly Father created like that sits underneath the prostate.
Right.
So we have this thing called nerve sparing surgery, which is a very delicate way of removing the prostate or removing the part of the prostate that's cancerous, nerve sparing. But you have to traumatize that nerve somewhat, so you might have some after effect. But they're afraid of that. However, with new kinds of treatment, there's a lot of Doctors Hospital have an ultrasound kind of treatment called HIFU, and there's brachytherapy, which is a sort of radiation. They have beams and sonar and laser and things like that can actually just burn out the small little nodule that you have, if detected early.
Yeah. You have all these less invasive procedures.
Yeah, but that's what technology has brought us to, and to where we are today. Because you go into the doctor's office, like you said, the robotic scenario, a little tiny incision, and that's taken care of. Okay, and a couple hours later, you're out.
But today, they might have left my prostate in.
With the technology,
with the technology
the treatments that's available.
You see? But then if you look at the pictures, if you are at that stage that stage 3 or 4,
right,
where it's spread in that diagram.
That's what I looked at.
You can't do that with that.
Right.
So at least come to us or go to your doctor.
Well, the thing is, it's going to affect you sexually anyhow if you allow that cancer to continue in your prostate.
Right.
And it's going to affect your life.
But the reality is, if you live long enough, you ain't going to be that sexy active anyway.
You'll die in 2 places.
When you start adding up the numbers. Okay, put it that way. But tell me about family history. Now, if in your family do you have where members have had to deal with this matter, that should be a red flag for any young man that you need to go get checked. Because if Uncle Billy down the road got it, and over there is Uncle Ted, he has that same problem, and he died from prostate cancer. Hold on now, this bloodline, this family line, I need to go get checked.
It puts you at higher risk.
I'll give you the most profound example I could give you, and then I'll talk some more about it, and Twizzy could add in, of course. Some years ago, there was a 23-year-old man who came to our clinic and got his PSA done. He and I went to the same gym, GB Fitness, so when I contacted him, we agreed that I would meet him there when he's there, and I'd give it to him, give his result. And I gave it to him inside the gym, and I said to this 23-year-old man, young man, you really don't need to do this early. He said to me, my father died of prostate cancer. And I said to you, I cannot tell you when to do it then. I mean, normally we would say, nowadays we say age 40 and age 35 if you have a family history now, normally. But if a guy is that passionate I ain't 7.
Not concerned?
I'm not concerned. I should be
stop
carrying
him.
them around to be my president. We should carry around our presentation. But the thing is that it is hereditary. Let me go in a new dimension.
Hereditary.
The BRCA gene that is so prevalent in the Bahamas, probably the highest in the world amongst women, and precipitates and causes breast cancer. Apparently it's present in men as well. You look at it in this particular one here. It's,
we're looking at it.
It's present in men as well. You see? So if a man has the BRCA gene, and this is still in this research part of it where we're going with this. But if a man has a BRCA gene, his son could get he could pass that gene and predispose his son to prostate cancer and his daughter to breast cancer. Conversely, the woman could pass it on to her son or daughter and the same thing. You see?
Well, the genetic.
Yeah, so that is the genetics. Yeah. So when you have family history, you better get checked early.
Okay. But here also is where...
Breast or prostate cancer.
Right, but here is also where the parents and grandparents need to also be honest with the children and let them know, listen, I have an issue, and I think down the road, son, you need to get checked as well.
Right.
Okay, and be honest. You know?
Yes.
And be able to do that so that you can deal with the situation. Okay, you look at symptoms, probably urinating, burning sensation, blood in the urine. Also,
that's late.
You know, that's when it's a problem, right?
We don't want that.
But now you're looking at means and ways so you don't get to this point.
Yes.
All right. So, Daddy got to tell Jimmy, listen, you need to go and get checked.
Yeah.
Okay? Because some things that your mommy know, and we've been keeping it somewhat under wrap. Yeah. And that's a problem that we as Bahamians have, and we've seen it more and more a lot, that we don't let our children know that they need to get checked. And even with women and breast cancer and cervical scenarios, they don't tell them until after something happens. You know, and then it's too late.
Yeah, I think all adults need to take responsibility to know their family history. And especially in the Bahamas, where our families sometimes are so divided. You know, if you don't investigate, you won't know. And it's important for people to know their family history, especially when it comes to prostate cancer, to know what happened, if it happened to your uncles or your father or any close relative, whether they have been infected with prostate, grandparents, because knowing that lets you know that you are at high risk.
Right.
And so you should be very intent about being screened and knowing your status.
Very much important. And also, when you look at the men's side of things, and now that we're moving forward into September, and you want to celebrate and say those men who have, like yourselves, have beaten the odds and still here.
Still here.
Okay? You could do the same thing, but you got to go out and get tested and see what's going on and go from there, okay?
And be prepared to face the results of the tests, because some of them do run off and we don't hear them. I know a guy, it's a very sad story. I told him, he had prostate cancer. And he told me, and he said, Don, I don't believe that. 6 years later, he came back. He rebuked it. He rebuked the pathology report. 6 years later, he came back limping.
Realizing that he had...
well, it had spread.
There you go. Yeah, it spread through the limbs and into the bone.
It goes into the bone marrow.
There you go.
He's no longer with us. We couldn't do anything. You know, we tried.
Yeah.
We could do nothing. And these are the real hard facts that really, you know, sometimes they bring me to tears. There was another gentleman who lived in what's the area close by Christ the King over this way, where they call it the ghetto. He was discharged for pain management. Pain management, because there's nothing else they could do with him. There's nothing else they could do with him. One morning, his lady friend called me and said, Don, Mr. So-and-so passed away this morning. You know, there's nothing else.
And that's the message you don't want to ever have to hear. Because you could have done some things to prevent this avoidance situation.
We want to avoid that. That's not necessary. That's past. It's not necessary to repeat that. That's the thing. That's the message we need to get across. The guy's got to come up. It's as if it's somebody else's disease.
No. We want them to know that it is your disease. Gentlemen, take responsibility. Gentlemen, get checked. We're going to take a break. Don't go nowhere. We're not done yet. We got more on prostate cancer when we come back.
You're watching the ZNS Health Zone.
For all your insurance needs, life, health, homeowners, marine, and so much more, we are Freeport Insurance agents and brokers, located at Freeport Insurance Center, number 21B West Mall Drive, Freeport, and in Nassau at Suite A3A, East Bay Plaza, East Bay Street. We specialize in you.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
Maintaining strong relationships with superior customer service. Fulfilling all your insurance needs through commercial, property and casualty, marine and aviation, homeowners and contents, automotive for private and commercial, life insurance, medical, and pension investments. Being the best at who we are in Freeport since 1980.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
A name you've come to know and trust.
We've always been there for you.
So call us today at 350-3500 or visit our office on Pioneers Way.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited. Honestly,
nobody does it better.
Doctors Hospital is reimagined primary care. We've invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations in Freeport and 8 Mile Rock, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
We all need to save time, gas, and money. Shopping at Save More can help you do just that. Make us your first stop for all your prescription needs and medical supplies. Get all your health and beauty items at the same time. And don't miss our huge choice of snacks to satisfy your cravings. And the largest vitamin selection and over-the-counter relief products. Need diapers and other baby care items? First stop, the new section for makeovers, cosmetics, and beautiful jewelry will make you sparkle for that next special event. Save More Drugs, your more store.
make the best decision of your life and become an active and valued member of National Workers Cooperative Credit Union today. Call 352-9624 or 826-8670. National Workers Cooperative Credit Union. You're watching the ZNS Health Zone.
Welcome back to Health Zone, and today's show is all about men. Yes, us too is spreading the message that prostate cancer is real, and men, you need to take full advantage of all the information that they have available for you and get tested and make sure that you involve your family, because if you don't, you will be out there on an island by yourself. We don't want you to be out there by yourself, because the sandflies will take you to war. We need you to be involved, like we have been here, involved in this one here with Percy and Dawn, about how we can avoid tragedy just by simply testing and seeing how our bodies are functioning, gentlemen. At this point, we need to know from you, your message to the men out there, why it's important for them to go and get tested.
The importance of testing is early detection. And like with every other cancer, if prostate cancer is detected early, it can be very easily treated. All right? And the earlier the detection determines the outcome and the quality of life that you will have. Not just the early testing, but early treatment.
Right.
Because once you test and you know your status, be aggressive in terms of treating it, and that determines the quality of life that you have afterwards.
And then knowing your status and knowing exactly where you are and having those numbers.
And dealing with it.
Dealing with those numbers. Because when you go and it's 2, and then next year it's up to 3, and so right then and there you need to start looking at, whoa, what's going on here? Let me go in depth with this thing and get some consultation and then see exactly how
Watch
that
it
works.
closely then,
Because you've got to keep aware of what's happening with your bodies.
Yep.
And Dawn, you didn't get that chance to do that, but you're now encouraging other men to do that, and so that they too can have a fruitful life. And it's not a death sentence if you catch it early.
I'm going to put another angle to it. There are some treatment options in which we do nothing. We just watch it. That has been going on for a while, but it's more customized now. If a gentleman between the ages of 40 and maybe 55 is detected with prostate cancer, when we get the pathology report from the RAND, we see how much cancer it is and how aggressive it is. And if it's not so aggressive and if it's early, we can put a young man who's 44 years old on active surveillance. Active surveillance means that we just do nothing, and he does this because we see that it's not aggressive. It's Gleason's score, which determines how aggressive it is, maybe 4 instead of 9. We just let him do his PSAs at the beginning, every quarter maybe. And if they are maintaining that, we just tell them maybe 6 months or maybe every year. So we have a number of men in Grand Bahama. There are a certain percentage of men in the world who are being treated needlessly for prostate cancer. We need to know if they have it because we want to know if it needs to be treated. But there is a significant amount of them who don't need to be treated. For the younger men, we call them active surveillance because they're more likely to have an aggressive type, and it's more important to them to preserve that. Like they must have those great sexual years when they might wish to start a family and all that. For the older men, we call it watchful waiting. Guys that go 65 and older. And it's if we find a type of cancer that is less aggressive in those men, it's even easier to manage.
But it's not affecting them.
Because it's first of all, it's still in the prostate. If you look at that, this diagram here, that's out the prostate.
Right, but it's still in the prostate.
It's still in the prostate, so we don't have to.
Spread,
and it's not spread, and it's also not aggressive because we see the analysis says it's not aggressive. But we don't trust that. We still want them to do the PSAs every now and then. So we have guys like that out there as well.
Right.
So that's a whole new category of fish. It's a new kettle of fish. It's been around for a while, but for us, it's something we're using more now than we've done in the past. And some men are saying to us, I don't want an invasive option. I don't want an invasive treatment option. So we might try to put them on that in those cases.
But that comes with, again, consultation, and that's knowing what's there.
First of all, knowing you have prostate cancer.
Knowing what's there.
And so being able to, and then having the conversation about it. And so men speaking to men about the situation.
Dialogue.
So we have a guy who has been on active surveillance for a long time, but now he's on radiation. He's on radiation now. Is the radiation, and his cancer is not spread, but it was growing a bit. So we decided to treat it, and he's agreed, and he's happy with that. Happy with that.
Because he's alive.
Yeah.
He's alive.
Well, he's young, he's alive, and he's functioning. One of the treatment options, and I have to give in 10 minutes, give kudos to an area that supports the men in the NIB National Insurance Health Plan. There is a hormone treatment that a lot of our men in Grand Bahama are using. It's a Zoladex shot to the stomach once every 3 months. It's over $800 for the shot. Over $800, and we have guys from West End to East End who are getting this shot. It's on the prescription drug plan.
Say that again. Let the men know that it's on the plan.
It's on the prescription drug plan. This is not for younger men. This is usually for men in their 60s, 70s,
60s and 70s. That is a part of the NID program.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys who they have to be age 65. Age 65 and over is standard for them to get that through the plan.
You get the senior now.
Yeah, but we do ask social services for younger men as well, and they have been granting some of those. Right. But you'd be surprised how many men on Zoladex getting that shot. They got to go to one of the labs, and the shot costs $25 to actually bidder. They go to we put it on their prescription drug plan. They go to the pharmacy. They get the prescription, they take it, they know where to take it because we tell them. They take it to one of the labs and they get a shot in the stomach and press go.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, we have discussed a lot in regards to prostate cancer and the way forward. September is Prostate Cancer Month, and we're hoping that the men in this country will take heed and take care of their bodies and do the things that they need to. And I want to thank both of you gentlemen for the work that you have done and will continue to do in informing and educating our men about prostate cancer, and the fact that we as men have to all band together and make this happen and protect ourselves. If you wish to support the Us Two group, how do they reach you guys?
727-0181 is my telephone number. And 804-5479 is my other telephone number.
There you go.
Okay, those two telephones, I can repeat them. 727-0181 and 804-5479. Anybody who wants to do a blood test, a PSA blood test for $22, call me and I will arrange it for you.
There you go. Don, thank you very much. Percy, thank you.
You're welcome.
And continue to do well. Continue in your vein and outreaching, your outreach ministry as far as the men are concerned. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It has been a wonderful show for us two making a difference here. And they are now taking this thing to another level. But again, men, take responsibility for your health and your lives. Go get that testing done. Do it for your children. Do it for your wife, do it for your family, and better still, do it for some friends, like Percy, who's got a prayer for you that you will always remember. I'm Ricardo Lightbourne. Thank you, gentlemen, for both being with us today. Don, don't sleep, so call him. He'll be there for you. Thank you for tuning in, and so long.
ZNS Health Zone was brought to you by Doctors Hospital. Other sponsors include the National Workers Credit Union, Freeport Insurance Agents and Brokers, Save More Drugs, and Insurance Management.
Your mission is in. Yes, Mom! Agent 1, what is the type? Physical contact, Mom. Agent 2, what is a good touch? Touches that make you feel alright, ma'am. Such as a high five, a handshake,